Good evening, and welcome to the Tweaks County Board of Education meeting. Thank you to our in-person and online communities and stakeholders for joining us this evening. It is my pleasure to call the Tweaks County Board of Education meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, November 9th, 2021, and the time is now 6:01 p.m. May we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May we remain standing for a moment of silence. You may be seated. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
So moved.
Motion has been made by Ms. Blackshear. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. King. Is there any discussion? Again, this motion is to approve tonight's agenda. Are you ready for the question? All in favor that we approve tonight's agenda as presented, I'll know you by saying aye, raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposes? No opposes. That motion carries unanimously. Approval of minutes for the October 26, 2021 BOE work session. Board members, I give you a brief moment to overview those minutes. Board, after reviewing those minutes, what's your pleasure?
Move that motion.
Motion's been properly made to approve the October 26, 2021 BOE work session. May I have a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Ms. King. Is there any discussion? No discussion. I know you by saying aye. Raise your hand if you approve this motion. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposes? No opposes. That motion carries unanimously. We have approved our October 26, 2021 BOE work session minutes. At this time, I'll ask Ms. Blackshear to give us an ethics statement.
Thank you. In accordance with regulations set forth by the Georgia Ethics Commission, it is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflict of interest and interest of such conflict. Does any board member have any known conflict of interest? Mr. Chair, we will proceed with our agenda.
Thank you, Madam Blackshear. At this time, do any board members have any board comments, anything pertaining to our community?
I would like to say something.
Proceed.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Good afternoon.
I would like to say that on this coming Saturday at the Jeffersonville Elementary School Gymnasium, there will be a community-wide meeting in reference to the Jeffersonville High School and / elementary school. It is a monument project that's going on, and we're looking for everyone to come out, for all the classes to be represented, to come out and listen to what they have to say. So please come out. That's this Saturday at the Jeffersonville Elementary School Gymnasium at 6 p.m.
Thank you, Ms. King. Are there any other comments from the board? Seeing none, good evening, Dr. Bullard. Superintendent's comments and remarks.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, board members. It's good to see all of our faculty, our administrators, our excellent, outstanding, wonderful students who are here in the hall with us on tonight, and to all of those parents and community members who are with us virtually. I'll greet you this evening. I would like to ask Ms. Renata Woodley if she would come to the microphone and present to you all some information in regards to our upcoming REACH Scholarship fundraiser. Ms. Woodley.
Thank you, Dr. Bullard.
You're welcome.
Board Chair Harris, Vice Chair Rouse in his absence, board members, Superintendent Bullard, community, and stakeholders. Good evening.
Good evening.
The Tweeds County Public Schools will host the REACH Scholarship fundraiser Blues and Barbecue on November 20th, 2021, from 11 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. This year, patrons can purchase a barbecue dinner, stop by Twiggs County High School parking lot, pick up the meal, and enjoy some live music from two of Middle Georgia's best bands. Big Mike and the BPs will light up the stage from 12 to 2, and closing out from 3 to 5, we will premiere R&B band Harold Thomas and Danger Zone. DJ Diddy Diamond will keep the stage hot between the bands. 2021 marks the 7th year of the signature fundraiser in support of REACH, Realizing Educational Achievement Can Happen scholarship initiative in Twiggs County. Since launching in September 2014, Twiggs County Public School has signed 35 REACH scholars who benefit from having a mentor and academic coach throughout middle and high school and receive extensive college preparation opportunities. Upon graduation, they are awarded up to $10,000 in scholarship funds towards matriculation at a Georgia 2- or 4-year college. This year, the district will add 6 new 8th grade REACH scholars in the 2021-2022 school term with your help. To pre-order your meal or for more information, you can contact me at the school, 478-945-3112, or you can email me. The district is committed to the safety and well-being of our students, staff, and stakeholders. We strongly encourage attendees to practice social distancing and CDC guidelines. Do you have any questions for me?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Woodley, we are very excited again to prepare and to support a new cohort for our REACH scholars. We want the community to come out and to enjoy blues and barbecue. We understand the music is going to be festive. It's going to be a wonderful experience. So if you find some time on November the 20th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., please stop by, enjoy some barbecue and some great music, and support our scholars. Thank you.
Dr. Bullard, that concludes your comments.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Excited about REACH. Scholarship fundraiser is always a treat, so I applaud our staff for doing a great job with that since inception. So looking forward to that evening. Listen, it's time to get into the business of the district. I noticed at the bottom that we don't have executive session, so I think our administrators are pleased tonight that that didn't make the agenda. So I think we'll be home by 9, maybe 10. Business agenda item A, audit update, information item being presented by our Assistant Superintendent, CFO, Mr. James Austin. Good evening, Mr. Austin.
Board members, Superintendent Dr. Bullard, constituents in person and virtually. I want to take the opportunity to talk about our audit. If I can get this to work. Let me do this. And this will consist of our FY21 audit, 20 audit and 19 audit. All right, there we go. And in the past, we've normally provided information about our audit status in order for us to ensure that you all as board members, constituents of the community understand our financial health. And before I get into the FY 2019 and 2020 audit update, I'd like to remind you all of who we are. We're a school district with a vision, an excellent one team, one goal, and we have a mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. As we talk about mission and vision, the business and finance department is dedicated to maximizing financial resources, enabling our students to obtain their highest academic performance. It is the goal of the Finance Office to sustain public trust and confidence in the school district through exercising sound financial practices and effective stewardship of funds. It is our vision to become the standard of excellence in financial reporting, business leadership, and stewardship. An independent audit is what we undergo every year from an outside agency. So what is an independent audit? So a third party examines our financial statements and all disclosure and notes that make up every detail about our financial history and transactions in the district. The process, there's an explanation of the management roles and responsibility, which will include the internal management team of the district, and what the auditor is responsible for. What is their role as it relates to the audit process? There's a planning and risk assessment, which means the auditors they actually provide a plan of action on how they will audit our financial statements, the items they will need for us to provide, and they will provide an assessment based upon the information they are seeing to ensure that we are at low risk for a numerous amount of things such as fraud, ensuring that we are accounting for dollars in the right place, that we're making the appropriate accounting entries as according to our standards. Internal controls testing. This means that they would take the information from the risk assessment and test to ensure that the procedures we have in place are following our policies that the board has set and any internal procedures that we have in place. And they'll review the procedures and policies and do a complete audit walkthrough from the policy to the procedure to the transaction, all the way down into the bank statement to ensure we are in line to what we say we are doing. Once that process is complete, they review, the auditor in charge reviews all of the information. They send it up to their managers and deputies at the state level, and it is approved and there's an opinion that is issued. Now, granted, if we have a finding, for example, they do provide an opportunity for us to provide a corrective action plan and also respond to any of their comments. And this normally happens toward the latter part of the audit process. And the reason this is in red is because this is only applicable if there's a finding. The corrective action plan will state what will we do in order to correct that issue that they have found in our audit report. And then publication. It is published on the Department of Audits and Accounts website, and we publish as well on our platforms to show our status in our financial report based upon the audit. So as we talk about the role of the auditors and issuing their opinion, as they call it, this to ensure that the fairness of the financial statements and disclosure, that they're fair, accurate, and timely. So there's three categories I like to talk about as it relates to the type of opinions they will particularly issue. Unmodified opinion. The auditor was satisfied with the statements and they see little to no issues with the statements. A modified opinion that it was good, but there were a little more issues that are concerned to them, and they are noting those in more detail opposed to an unmodified opinion. And an adverse opinion is that a lot of things were wrong. Misstatements, misrepresentations, and there was not an accurate reflection of the financial performance and health. Essentially, if we were trying to have funding for federal programs, bonds, adverse status would probably prevent us from achieving or receiving those dollars because of our status being adverse. Modified is where we would like to be. From a historical perspective, I've had the opportunity to really look back 10, 15 years in our audit process. And one of the things I noticed, going back into 2005, is that we had findings from 2005 all the way to 2019. And I wanted to figure out common theme. happening in our financial picture, what some of the things we're doing well that we could improve on. And I was able to see that it was consistent from 2005 to 2019. Upon my tenure here in 2018, I was tasked with fiscal year 2016 and 17. I had 2 audits to complete. Both of those audits had findings. Then I started on 2018 audit. That audit had a finding as well. We was getting a little better, but we still had 2 findings. So as we get to 2019, we talk about the unmodified opinion, which is where we want to be. So we did have an unmodified opinion, but they still issued findings in our internal control area. So what this means for us is in internal controls, they looked at a few categories such as capital assets, and the way that we reported our assets on the listing opposed facing what our actual policy said at the time, it did not align properly. There were some things we needed to change. And if you all remember, we actually took the updated policy to you all for approval, and this corrected a lot of those things because our policy was not in line to our procedures. And again, that's part of their walkthrough process. So those things came out, and this has been consistent since 2005. There's been an issue with our capital assets based upon our policy and procedures not matching. As relates to expenditures, liabilities, and disbursements, we've seen that we had 2 documents that did not have a proper review and approval on it, essentially meaning that I reviewed it and that Dr. Bullock, for example, signed off on that he approved it. So 2 of those documents didn't have that out of 41. Employee compensation, this goes back to ensuring that all supplements, salary schedule are approved by the board. And this is some of the things that we've dealt with, especially with SIG and some other programs. So that sense has been corrected. And our general ledger, I've talked about this consistently as it relates to old journal entries dating back from 2005 to now that we had to clean up and correct that came out in the FY17 audit. So the general ledger is reflecting those older entries that we needed to correct. So these are the items that made up the reason of contribute to the reason of having a finding for FY19. Now, as we move forward from FY19 to FY20, and now this is a very pivotal year because at this particular time, this was my first audit. I was inheriting the FY19 audit as it relates to what started during my time. The FY16 to 17, they were already on the way. I just finished them. 18 I finished, but 19 was the one that I actually was coming right behind. And so my first audit that I had the opportunity to control from start to finish was FY20 audit. And in this audit, we had an unmodified opinion and we had 0 findings in FY20. In over 15 years, we had findings, and now in FY20, we do not have any findings on our audit. And I'm very excited about the work that the finance department has done. And I want to call their names from Mindy Floyd, for ensuring that our books are in order, from Lisa Nichols to Sandra Stanley to Miss Curry to Stephanie Collins, and to all the directors, to Mr. Bacon department, to technology, everyone, even to the school level and the bookkeepers played a part in making this a reality. And I thank you all for your hard work, and we have a great foundation to move forward from. So as we look at key updates, one of the things that we noticed, and we want to always make sure we're moving forward and we're not going back to some of the things that we were doing. The Department of Audits and Accounts is a great financial institution, auditing institution, but they audit in cycles. So some of the things that take place is when it's time for them to go to the collegiate level and audit, they actually take their chance. And if we're behind, that's the reason why we had 16 to 17 at the same time, because they got behind. So we want to ensure that does not happen anymore because we do not have accurate information. A part of our vision is to be the to have financial excellence in reporting, and we aim to do that at the national and international level. We're shooting for designations that recognize us across state and country. And we aim now to have our audits done within 6 months of closing the fiscal year. Audits have been done a year, 2 years, 8 to 10 months after the close, and that's not timely for us. And we want to improve that time. And so we're looking at moving from the Department of Accounts and Audits to a private auditor, Martin Jenkins. They will prepare us to continue to move forward, to provide us more comprehensive financial reporting and a management discussion analysis report that provides you all as board members and constituent of community a very detailed analysis of our financial picture and health and projection. So we are taking our business finance department to a new level, and we're excited about the work that has been done. And I just thank you all for the support and opportunity to share this news with you all. Are there any questions that I can answer at this time?
Thank you, Mr. Austin, for a job well done. Superintendent, would you like any comments?
Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, board members, I as well echo our Assistant Superintendent in reference to the outstanding work of all of the leaders here in the school district. It is not an easy task to go through an entire school district audit and have no findings. And it took all of the leadership here in the school district working together, following the board policies, following the board practices that we put into place that you have approved, and ensuring that all of our books balanced and that our practices were sound. And when the auditors came in, they found that to be the case. And they found nothing to cite for us to correct. And that is a monumental task. Congratulations, Mr. Austin and the Finance Department. Congratulations to all of the department leaders in the school district. Job well done.
Congratulations, Mr. Austin, and to your team. Job well done. Thank you for the work that you do. Business agenda item B, July-September FY 2022 financial report. This is an action item being presented once again by Assistant Superintendent, CFO, Mr. James Austin.
Again, we're here to talk about our financial report. We presented this last board meeting as an information item, but before we seek approval and entertain any questions or concerns, I would like to remind you all of who we are. We're a school district with a vision, generating excellence, one team, one goal, and a mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. What you see before you as a recap is our July through September financial position. Again, the state has required us to report in this format, showing all the revenue and expenditures that have budgeted in our presentation we make every year before we approve our general fund budget. And this reflects that. And if there's any items that I can clarify or provide more insight on, I'll be happy to do that at this time before approval is sought.
Mr. Austin, enlarge your item on the screen so that it'll fill the entire screen. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Board members, we've heard the presentation. Now it comes to us as action. Dr. Bullis, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chair, I ask that you all move that the financial report for July through September FY22 be accepted as presented.
Board, you heard the superintendent's and Mr. Austin's presentation and recommendation. What do I hear?
Mr. Chair,
Proceed, madam.
I make a motion to approve the monthly financial status report fiscal year 2022.
Motion has been properly made by Ms. King. May we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Blackshear. Is there any discussion? No discussion? Again, this is to approve our July through September FY 2022. I know you by saying aye, raising your hand if you approve this motion.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposes? No opposes. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Austin.
Yes, sir.
Business agenda item C. This is the CARES 2 budget information item being presented by Ms. Reardon. Good evening, Ms. Reardon.
Good evening, Board Chair Harris,
Proceed.
Vice Chair Rouse, Dr. Mack Bullard, Superintendent, and our stakeholders, virtually and in person. Tonight, I'm going to be presenting on our CARES 2 budget. Give me just a moment so I can get it to where you can see it better. First, I'd like to remind you who we are. We are a district with a vision, one team working together towards one goal. Our mission is to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. As we work through the pandemic, we have received funds to assist us as we go through this pandemic and coming out of the pandemic. The CARES 2 budget that has come to us is in the amount of $1,636,623. And we endeavor to use this to support our students and the work that we are doing here in Twiggs County to the best of our ability. And after many meetings and working together within the district, we have come up with this plan. And this plan is supporting student learning, 43% of the money. 17% of the money is retention supplements. 4% of the dollars will be going towards district development, 3% to leader development, 1% to teacher development, 8% to curriculum supplies and assessment, 5% to facility repairs, improvements, and air quality and sanitation, 12% to technology services, devices, and insurance. And then we have health services and parent engagement and support. And I'll break these down for you. Our 43% going towards student learning, that's $711,250, will be going towards after-school tutoring. This is tutoring and intervention support during school. So after school and during school, we will have tutoring with programs such as Read United that we partnered with during our summer school program. We've partnered with communities and schools. We have individual teachers who are dedicating their time and expertise to work with our students in addition to their regular classwork. We have content specialists to support our Twiggs Online Academy and other individuals and programs that we will be working with. We have our summer school program that we will, with an enrichment focus going into this next summer, that we are beginning planning in the beginning of January. We also have staff that we've already hired this staff, but we've been given an opportunity to protect our general funds by putting salaries temporarily onto CARES and relieving general fund to protect that balance and to grow it, and then other instructional programs. We also have $286,000 that we've dedicated to retention supplements. This is 17% of the 17% of the budget. And this is in the amount of $2,000 supplements for all staff, for retention of staff and for the efforts that they have made throughout the pandemic serving students in what we all know to be in a less than an ideal situation, and the added stress to support students in an ever-changing environment where significant additional effort was required to provide the basics at times. We provided meals to our students at home. We've provided many other programs. We've asked our teachers and our staff to teach virtually and in person at the same time many times. We've asked them to put in additional hours to switch to virtual learning and then come back to in person. The value of a great employee is priceless, and we want to recognize them and support the work that each and every one of our employees have done. Improving retention improves the education system as a whole. The culture and the climate in the school system and student achievement also improve. How do we retain staff? There's multiple ways to retain staff. We empower them to succeed. We provide them with support. And another way research shows is through financial incentives, and that's what we hope to do with this $2,000 supplement. Technology, we've dedicated 12% of the budget to technology in the amount of $192,373. As you know, that we have received an additional ECF grant that is going to be purchasing Chromebooks and hotspots that are going to be going into the homes, as well as the Chromebooks and hotspots that we've already purchased throughout the district. Well, we want to make sure that those Chromebooks and hotspots and other technology devices are here with us for a while so that we don't have to keep purchasing them. So we will be purchasing insurance on our Chromebooks and our hotspots and other devices. It will also provide data plans for the hotspots that we already have that will be a stopgap towards waiting on our funding to come through for our ECF grant. We have dedicated 8% of our total budget in the amount of $134,849 for curriculum, supplies, and assessments. We've already purchased iReady Math. We are piloting iReady Reading and may look to do that in the future. We want to purchase high quality, valid, and reliable assessments so that we know exactly where our students are and what they need and make the best use of our time to support their learning. We want to provide other curriculum supplements such as coach books. We provided $20,000 worth of school supplies at the beginning of this school year, and we want to continue to be able to provide additional supplies to our students as a whole in the classroom and those who are learning online and as we move into next school year. We purchased a digital music curriculum to support our bands and our music program while we were virtual and in the event that we go back to a virtual setting, and they're also able to utilize it daily in class. We want to utilize this money to provide art supplies for our newly developed art program. Then we also want to provide for staff and district development. As I mentioned when we were talking about teacher retention, part of that is supporting those teachers and leaders and developing them. We're providing through this grant, 4% of it is going in the amount of $58,000 to district development. When we develop the district, that includes everybody, and we're able to develop from the top down, and that directly impacts student achievement. $45,000, 3% is going to our leader development, the leaders in the school system, the leaders at the school level. Those leaders then would develop the teachers below them and the students below them. That $45,000 goes towards developing those leaders and making a stronger school environment, and then to support the individual teachers, $25,000, 1% of that budget, to support those teachers who also impact student achievement. So starting with the district, which impacts everybody, our school leaders, which impacts directly at the school level, and then the teachers, all of it filters down to improving our student achievement and overall culture and climate in the schools. Next, we have health services. 6% of this budget will be going to health services, $91,151. This will provide an additional school nurse. We have one school nurse that services the entire district. So if she's at one school and something happens at the other school, she has to leave from where she is and travel. If we had a nurse in both facilities, that would get care to those individuals who are in need much quicker. We want to expand our nursing facilities. additional medical equipment in those facilities, and additional nursing supplies for our students and staff. Our facility repairs and improvements and improved air quality, 5% of our budget, $83,000. We have already provided improved filtration system to mitigate the virus spread. Our facilities are extremely clean. Our custodial staff and maintenance staff work diligently to make sure that we have a healthy and safe school environment for our students and staff. We're providing sprayers and solutions in those sprayers for maintaining the safe environment. An air quality consultant and inspection has been done in each of the schools. And then PPE to provide for the safety of our students and staff. And then we have family engagement. This is an additional 1% on top of the money that we've already provided through Title I for family engagement in the amount of $10,000. Programs to provide information to parents on how they can effectively support students during a pandemic and through virtual learning, and support for parents providing academic support to students who are at risk. Are there any questions?
When will we be hiring another nurse?
Very soon. That we're already in the works looking into that.
Under student learning support, the instructional programs, what are the programs that are entitled to that?
Some of the program, this is in addition to some of the programs that we already have, so it's expanding some of the programs that we already have in place. Expanding the iReady that we had already purchased, expanding those coach books that we have done, and looking into other instructional programs that may be needed as we're moving forward. We want to be able to have the opportunity to add anything else that we need to support our students. For the most part, because we already have iReady in the other part of the fund where we have curriculum and supplies, then we want to start looking at what we can do to add reading. It may be bringing in an additional reading program to us. We have looked into growing readers in the past. It would be a program a lot like that. We want to meet the needs of the students today, but we also want to be looking toward the future for anything else that might come up. We need to have the funding in place before we get there.
Board, any more questions?
With the retention supplement, would there be a requirement for the retention supplement bonus? Are we gonna do anything with that?
Say that again.
For the retention supplements, are we gonna do anything like a retirement for the retention, any bonus or anything, retirement, retention bonus, anything of that?
This retention supplement is what would normally be called a bonus, if this is, if I'm understanding your question correctly. But for federal funding, we're not to use the word bonus, we're to use the word supplement in place of the word bonus.
What would be the requirements?
The requirements for a person to get them,
Yes.
this will be all of our staff members, our part-time and full-time staff members.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Board members, are there any more questions for Ms. Reardon? Thank you so much, Ms. Reardon. Don't go far. All right.
I won't.
Business agenda item D, federal programs overview. This is an action item being presented by Ms. Reardon.
Yes, this is a review of the information that you received 2 weeks ago when we went over federal program budgets. I'm just going to give you a very high-level overview. Again, our vision is generating excellence, one team, one goal, and our mission is to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. And at the heart of every dollar that we have in Twiggs County, that is what we want to do, is make sure that we are focusing on preparing our students. The title program budgets, we have Title I, which focuses on improving student achievement with $481,833. Title II focuses on improving teacher quality with $59,826. Title III, we found out last week, we do not have a fund, but we still support the students that would normally be funded through this money. We support them through Title I and Title II, IV, and V. Title IV and V, we've consolidated them into one fund source, which is $55,100. As a review for Title I, we have our set aside, and then each of the 3 schools has a pot of money, and each one of those has control over how they would like to spend their money to best meet their individual needs within their school, because each of the 3 schools has unique needs. And then Title II-A, this is focusing on teacher improvement. This also has professional learning within it, our teacher and leader development, our conferences, and our recruitment fairs are funded through Title II. And then Title V, again, is a consolidation of what was Title IV and Title V together. And through this grant, we focus on our summer school and tutor and student supports, PBIS, student incentive support, PBIS coordinator, teacher and leader development for RTI, response to intervention, MTSS, multi-tiered systems of support, and PBIS, positive behavior interventions and support. Are there any questions?
Board members, this is our second hearing of this presentation. Superintendent Bullard, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chair and board members, I ask that you all accept and approve the federal program's budget as presented.
Board members, you heard the recommendation by superintendent. What do I hear?
Mr. Chair, I make the motion to approve the federal program budget.
Motion's been properly
I'll
made.
second.
Motion's been seconded. Motion's been properly made by Ms. Blackshear and seconded by Ms. Stokes. Is there any discussion? No discussion. I know you by saying aye. Raise your hand if you approve this motion.
Aye.
Any opposes? No opposes. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Reardon, for the work that you do.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. Business agenda item E, Beta Club winners. This is an information item being presented by Complex Principal Harris and Principal Ms. Jenkins. Good evening.
Good evening. Board Chair, Mr. Harris, Vice Chair, Mr. Rouse, board members, our Superintendent, Dr. Mac Bullard, and our Twiggs County family. Good evening. I am Reese Jenkins, the proud principal of the greatest elementary school in Middle Georgia, Jeffersonville Elementary School. It is with extreme pleasure that I greet each of you. And before I talk about our endless celebrations, I want to share with you that we are a school district with a vision. We generate excellence, one team, one goal, and we have an endless mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. Tonight, I am here with 3 sponsors of our Beta Club, Ms. Anderson, Mr. Harris, and Ms. Capice, and our amazing scholars. Recently, our Beta Club scholars had an opportunity to travel to LaGrange, Georgia, and there they had an opportunity to exhibit their leadership skills, their achievement and character and service. And of course, we came back like we always do, as winners. I want to proudly say that our scholars are amazing and they always perform in a spirit of excellence. And if you would, share in this moment with me as we celebrate those scholars. We will call their names, they will be greeted by their sponsors, and we will allow our community to celebrate with us. Jordan Burney. Asa G. Alani Green. Sebastian Height. Dakota Meister. Jesselyn Rawls. Kiana Rozier. Jeremy Stanley. Danielle Washington. Zara Washington. Sarah Wright. Again, thank you all for celebrating with us. We will take our group picture, but please keep the applause coming because this winning Beta Club will surely impress as we go to state in a couple of weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jenkins, and thank you. Congratulations to our scholars. Business agenda item F. Oh, we did them separate. Proceed.
Board Chair Harris, Vice Chair Rouse, board members, Superintendent Bullard, esteemed students, community members, stakeholders, family, and friends. Good evening. Before I proceed, I must tell you, here in Twiggs County, we have a vision, generating excellence, one team, one goal. And our mission is to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. I am the proud principal of the Twiggs County Middle High School. It is indeed an honor and a pleasure to stand before you to celebrate and honor the 2021-2022 Beta Club members of TCMHS. Our middle school students, as well as our high school students, both qualified for nationals. We are extremely proud of our honorees. Therefore, please join me as we celebrate them for representing the mighty Cobras and making us all very proud. From our middle school, our first honoree is Zaquadre Coley. Vashawn Glover. Alasia Height. Mary Jowers. And certainly last but not least, Jada Pearson.
Listen, scholars, I got ahead of myself. Okay, I'm trying to push it. Go ahead, Mr. Harris. Take your time.
And now for our high school honorees. Remember, both qualified. We have William Barron. Zion Height. Michaela Mitchell. And she's not here tonight. Cameron Pearson. And Mariah Shine.
All right, Ms. Harris, you got any more rabbits? All right. Listen, congratulations to all of our scholars. In addition to our scholars, thank you so much for those advisors of these opportunities, as it is a sacrifice of your time in addition to your daily scheduled programming for teaching. So thank you for going the distance in our community and in our school district to make sure that our scholars have opportunities outside of the classroom. So thank you so much for what you do for Tweeds County, and keep representing as we can go anywhere from Tweeds. So keep representing Tweeds County in a major way. Thank you to each of you for your hard work and dedication. All right. Can I move on now, Dr. Bullard?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Business agenda item F. This is a Emergency Connectivity Fund, ECF award. This is an information item being presented by our Director of Technology, Mr. Trevante Basley.
Good evening, Board Chair Harris,
Good evening.
Vice Chair Rouse, board members, Superintendent Dr. Bullard, and stakeholders. Today I want to present the ECF overview and give you just a little bit more information about it. But first, let's talk about our vision. Our vision is generating excellence, one team, one goal. And we also have a mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. So, what is the ECF? The Emergency Connectivity Fund is a $7 billion program that the the FCC put together to help close the homework gap from internet connectivity and devices from that standpoint. They've seen a tremendous need during the first episode of COVID, so they put together this program to allow schools, libraries to facilitate that and help homes out. So the program will pay for computers and internet connectivity for those students. It was authorized as part of the American Rescue Plan Act of 2001. To get it, each school or district or library had to apply for it. So we did. So what were the requirements of the ECF? Firstly, it was a 15-day window for the application. So there was a lot of work that had to be put in a short amount of time. The first thing we had to do was make sure that we obtain a Federal Communications Commission number. Also, we had to register for a sam.gov account and an ECF account. With that, within those 15 days, we also had to gather all pricing and quotes for anything that we wanted to purchase. So again, that's a short window. We had to do a lot of work. Also, the most important thing about the ECF is that it's a needs-based program. We had to show a need for our community before we could apply for anything. So what did we do? In order to prove this need, we had to write a pretty lengthy narrative explaining exactly why we needed it and for what reason. So some of the things that we did to perform this and prove it was we did a needs assessment survey. We contacted each household over a week long. We did text messages, phone calls, emails. We did that a whole week for a campaign to make sure that we got some respondents. And we did receive 379 respondents. With this, it allowed me to pretty much forecast what that true number would be. We have households with 2 and 3 kids in them, so we could kind of expand that out. Also, we used some past surveys that we did during the first part of COVID when we distributed Chromebooks, so we pulled some of those things back in as well. Also, we used some public forums, some maps and stuff that's already out there, so we could explain that more in detail. And lastly, we talked to some stakeholders for experiences. I talked to teachers, I talked to principals, I talked to other staff members to try to get an idea of what they seen during COVID, what kind of experiences they had, so we can all put that into one narrative. So the next thing that I wanted to show you is one of those things that we did put in. What you have in front of you is a map. The state of Georgia put together a connectivity map. This is what they see. In light orange and gray, those are the areas of our county. Our county is outlined in blue right here, if you can see it. The colors in light gray and light yellow are the areas that's not, I repeat, not covered by internet service in our county. So you can't see it on the screen, but it's kind of small. It says about 67% of our county does not have internet connectivity. So I think this was really, really powerful that we sent up to them so they could kind of understand exactly where we are for Twiggs County. So the good news, on October 25th, we got the notice. We were awarded $291,950. Again, if you recall, earlier in the presentation, I told you that we had to outline exactly what it is that we would purchase before we could submit the application. So with that, what will we buy? We plan to buy 500 hotspots for our community, and this will include a year of service. That will come up to $105,000. So each one of our kids will have access to a hotspot and internet connectivity. With this, we also are going to buy 500 Dell Chromebooks. That comes up to $186,000. $1,950. So what's our next steps? The first step, we're doing that right now. We're doing a board presentation to give you guys more information, give the constituents some more information. Next, we're going to submit purchasing agreements to vendors and the ECF. Then we're going to conduct needs assessments for households to determine which families are going to get these pieces of equipment. Because again, I said this is a needs-based program, so we have to show a need. So we're going to do an assessment to make sure that we put people in line that who needs it can get it. Not everyone in our community responded, so we have a good idea of who those people are already, but we'll do that needs assessment. Next, we're going to finalize a plan for distribution, maintenance, and returning of the equipment. Again, these computers are purchased for in-home. We have to send them home, so we have to have a plan before we send those out so we can have an understanding of what we'll do going forward, so our parents and our district having that agreement. And lastly, we're going to do some inventory and then some distribution. So that's our plan. Do we have any questions?
I have one question. What is your anticipated month that you will be giving out the actual?
So I've been in contact with all of our vendors. All of our vendors have stock on hand. We just have to put those purchase orders in. But we anticipate getting this rolled out before the kids go home for Christmas break.
Sounds good.
Yes, ma'am. Try to give an early Christmas present.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you, Mr. Basley, for stretching to make this happen, as we had some courageous conversations when COVID started about how could we implement technology in our homes across the district, and we made that happen with your help and your department's help during that time. And then now it looks like I know everybody didn't bring back that computer then, but thankfully with funding like this, we can push. So Mr. Rouse was big on this piece when we talked about it initially, because we knew that we had multiple children in homes, and I think you heard the board's conversation. So thank you, Dr. Bullock, for pushing. Thank you, Mr. Basley, and your team for doing the work to make sure that our children, our scholars, have connectivity.
And I'm glad you said that. And might I add, the plan is for each kid in the home, if we see a household that has a need, each one of those kids will get a Chromebook and a hotspot. So there will be no data lags or anything. So if there's a need for a household, there will be 5 Chromebooks if there are 5 kids. That's our plan.
Ms. Esseline, the community appreciates this. As we know, during COVID, people like you had to stretch and make some purchases for some families. Ms. Woodley does the thing, she and her husband, where they give away a computer to a needed family. So thank you so much for filling that gap. And because of your efforts, we saw the need, and the district went a little further. So this is how it's supposed to be, to know that we have the work going on, even in our gaps, that our technology department and our superintendent sees a need. So one team, one goal, and we'll win every time if we keep that in mind. So thank you. I love to see things come together, Dr. Bullock. With that being said, our final business agenda item, business agenda item G. I'm sorry, Mr. District request. This is an action item being presented by our superintendent, Dr. Matt Bullard.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair
Proceed.
Rouse, board members, community members in person and those virtual. I do have a list of district requests tonight. We have 5 field trip requests, and we have 3 facility use requests that I'd like to bring to your attention. On Thursday, October the 18th, the Twiggs County High School JROTC is asking your permission to take a field trip to the Mighty 8 Museum. This is one of those curriculum in action field trips that they are required to take to Pooler, Georgia. And that'll be from 8 a.m. to 3:10 p.m. they are required to take at least one field trip per year by the Air Force. And this particular field trip, they'll get an opportunity to study more, a little about the JROTC in this particular museum called the Mighty Eight Museum. It talks about some of the armed forces in that particular museum. On Monday and Wednesday, November the 29th and December the 1st, we have a request for a field trip by our JES 4th and 5th grade Beta Club to go to Savannah Convention Center, and that is for the Georgia Elementary Beta Club Convention. Also, on the 1st of December, which is Wednesday, the JROTC is requesting permission to have a field trip, to have a dining opportunity with another cadet unit from Wilkinson County High School. On Thursday, December the 9th, our programs for exceptional children, led by Ms. Erica Williams, Ms. Betty Glover, and Ms. Stevens, are asking permission to take their students to the Waves Autism Center in Warner Robins, Georgia, for the purpose of developing social skills, transition skills for their students. And on Friday, December the 17th, our program for exceptional children are also asking to take their students to the Walmart on Gray Highway in Macon, Georgia, and that's for the purpose of practicing how to use money skills as well as using a budget to make small purchases. Board members, we have the request for facilities use. We have 3 requests I'd like to present to you on tonight. The first request is on Saturday, the 13th of November, by the Youth Athletic Association here in Twiggs County. The Twiggs County Cobras Youth Athletic Association are asking to utilize the football field for a football game from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And on Saturday, December the 18th, from 9 until 11:30 a.m., Mr. Michael Washington, one of our longtime trusted employees, is asking to utilize the Twiggs County High School kitchen in order to prepare a family Christmas dinner. And the JROTC program, Mr. Corey Lockhart, is asking to utilize the Twiggs County High School and utilize it to station for a community blood drive. This community blood drive will be done in partnership with the Shepherd Blood Center of Augusta. And if approved, they then will schedule the date for the blood drive. They don't schedule it until it is approved, but the Shepherd Blood Center of Augusta would be the partner for this community blood drive with your approval, and then they will schedule the date, and I'll bring that date back to you at that time. This concludes the facilities request and field trip request for tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Bullard. Board members, do we have any questions for Dr. Bullard? Seeing none, we've heard the superintendent's recommendation for approval of field trips and facilities usage. What is your pleasure, board?
I'll make that motion.
Motion's been properly made by Ms. Stokes. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Rouse, Vice Chair Rouse. Any discussion? No discussion. I know you by saying aye, raising your hand if you approve this motion. Aye. Any opposes? No opposes. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Dr. Bullard.
Thank you, board members.
Seeing that our business agenda has been exhausted, Dr. Bullard, have I omitted or overlooked anything, or are there any final comments or remarks that you'd like to make tonight?
Mr. Chair, board members, thank you for your support again of all of the work that is ongoing here in the school district to help to realize our vision, generating excellence, one team, one goal. We thank you for your support. We have concluded and exhausted our agenda. Knowing on tomorrow, Wednesday, November the 10th, we have a scheduled work session for our board that is scheduled to begin from 5:30. So I look forward to working with you all again on tomorrow night.
Board members, in saying that, we also have an executive session during that time. So there's an end time on your announcement. There is no end time for executive session. Just a note. Board members, have we exhausted our business agenda for tonight? Do you have any closing statements or remarks? Mr. Rouse, wanted to give you that opportunity. I think you may have come in after I said that. You good? All right. At this time, may I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Motion's been proudly made by Ms. Stokes. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. King. Is there any discussion? No discussion. On everybody saying aye. Raise your hand if you approve this mission. All right. Any opposers? No opposers. That motion carries unanimously. Good night, Tweaks County.
Miss Pearson.